Right now it's 6. It's an alert day. Snow and rain is heading to the area. The Firstborn Weather Team is on it. And a grant helping Logan middle schoolers help others. The project that's receiving a major boost.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Emily Brown. Ken is off tonight. Well, it's an alert day. The area is bracing for a wintry mix of snow and rain. We have live team coverage for you. JDS McGee is covering the conditions outside in La Crosse. Nicole Skaliski is in the Storm Runner in Eau Claire watching the roads. But let's start with Greg, who's tracking the system. Greg, what can we expect tonight?
Well, the worst conditions definitely are going to be north of La Crosse, in particular right now, Eau Claire. But we do have activity going on at all sites now. As you look at cameras out there, with La Crosse and Winona have actually come down with light snow now, about 2 to 3 miles. Eau Claire, you've seen it come down to a half mile, which then is moderate snowfall. So it's definitely going to pile up on the roads with that type of rate. Overall, you look at these temperatures, upper 20s to near 30. So it is on the heavier, wetter side of snow. But there is some pink shaded to the west of Preston. Those areas have seen a little bit of mix too. Even Mason City's seen a little freezing drizzle. But here's the worst conditions right there, Eau Claire. You can see the roadways. There's Menominee, then further south towards I-10 interchange there. Basically, you are getting pretty well dumped on with snow, and occasionally you see that visibility dropping down to a half at times. So right now we are going to see some pretty good snow rates. Further south you go, it's more light snowish, not so much heavier. You can see a little pink towards Prairie du Chien, but this area so far has just seen some light snow. It will pick up. Further to the east, Black River Falls is starting to pick up. You can see the roadways there, and further to the southwest, La Crosse is also starting to pick up as mentioned, and to the west, Winona, and there's your I-90 and Ridgeline. You can see the snow on the camera right there flying pretty good. So we are seeing activity pick up. Later on, we'll kind of break down all this, what's going to go on, how much we're going to see when we see maybe a change over to rain, and then we have more wind for Wednesday, and even more. We got some bitter cold temperatures to talk about towards the end of the week, too. So all that coming up a bit later. A lot happening. Yep. All right. Thank you, Greg. And the weather could become a real mess maker on the roads. Meteorologist Nicole Skaliski is in the Storm Runner in Eau Claire. How's it looking out there, Nicole?
Yeah, we definitely have plenty of snow coming down right now. Earlier, about an hour earlier, it was likely more of that dry snow, but if we take a live look outside our windshield right now as we drive through downtown Eau Claire, it's a lot more of that heavy and wet snowfall. So we're seeing much larger snowflakes, seeing a lot of the snowflakes clumping together, and that's really aiding in a much faster accumulation. From here on out for the next couple hours or so, this is really where we're expecting the heaviest snowfall to be passing through. As Greg said, visibility is down to about a mile to a mile and a half, especially for locations closer to Eau Claire and northward because of the heavier nature of this snow. So expect these conditions continue on for the next few hours. Roadways have been starting to pick up some accumulation, but we have seen some plow crews out. We've seen plenty of people walking, running, biking, and still going out. So again, there is some loss of traction on the roadways, but for now, nothing that the plows haven't been able to hold up with. But as this stronger accumulation continues, we'll likely see that starting to decrease a little bit as we go throughout the night. But we'll still be here tracking it, so I'll send it back to you in the studio, Emily.
All right, thank you, Nicole. And from the roads to the sidewalks, JDS McGee is live in La Crosse. JDS, a lot of people driving home from work right now. How are the roads looking out there?
Yeah, I'm here on Badger Street, and as you can see, the snow has picked up a little bit. If you take a look around me, you can see the snow starting to stick to the ground, and it is expected to pick up a little bit more as the night goes on. Streets and sidewalks are clear for the most part, but there may be a couple of slick spots as the mix continues to come down. Drivers are asked to slow down, give themselves extra stopping distance, and take it easy as they're heading out. Now, you will have more snow coverage as the night goes on, but for now, we're going to send it back to you, Emily.
All right, stay warm. Thank you, JDS. La Crosse declaring a snow emergency. That means alternate side parking is in effect. It starts at midnight and ends Friday at 6 p.m. Vehicles can only park on the side of the street with addresses that correspond with that day's date. And a reminder, in between newscasts, you can use the Firstborn Weather app to track conditions on your block. Well, the push is on to pass a bill that could push up the state's vaccine rates. News 8 Now's Grace Monk joins us to explain more. Grace.
Democratic lawmakers are introducing 2 bills aimed at addressing a decline in childhood vaccination rates across the state. According to the Wisconsin DHS, 86.4% of students met the minimum vaccine requirements during the 2024-25 school year. That's about a 3% decrease from the year before. Current law says anyone under the age of 18 needs parental consent to get vaccines. One of the bills aims to change that age to 16.
If a 16 or 17-year-old feels strongly that they want to be protected from dangerous diseases, there's no reason that our laws should get in the way of them doing so.
The other bill would end the state's personal conviction waiver. Wisconsin currently allows parents to exempt their children from vaccines for medical, religious, and personal reasons. According to the DHS, 5.8% of students had personal conviction waivers during the 2024-25 school year. Subeck says ending the waivers could help prevent infectious disease outbreaks.
When you start having large numbers of kids in our classrooms who haven't received vaccines for measles and mumps and rubella, or for polio, you're putting every child, and particularly those most medically vulnerable children, at risk.
The bills were previously introduced in 2023, but didn't make it very far. Subeck says they're currently looking for other lawmakers to co-sponsor the bills. It will most likely head to a House committee after that. In the newsroom, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Grace. Happening around the state.
We're going to break the back window. She's going to crawl out.
A scary scene in Milwaukee, an SUV hanging off a wall on I-794. Sheriffs broke the back window and the driver crawled out to safety. The SUV was hit when a sedan swerved and hit her while avoiding another car. Governor Tony Evers signing a new bill. It expands on the state's move over law. Currently, the law only applies to emergency vehicles and certain vehicles with flashing lights. Now, any vehicle with a flashing light or hazard lights would be included. The Wisconsin kayaker who faked his death is out of jail. Jail records show that Ryan Borgwart was released last week. Police say he faked his disappearance to meet up with a woman in Europe. Still to come, Logan Middle School students win a big grant. How they're using the funds to help neighbors in need. Plus, an initiative to attract businesses to Holmen when we come back.
Tomorrow, starting at 5 a.m., we're tracking snow, plus your morning commute, new concerns over cell phones and kids, and the holiday gifts moms really want. I'll see you starting at 5 a.m.
La Crosse middle schoolers are giving back in a unique way. News 8 Now's Allison Fergit has the details.
Logan Middle School students are creating blessing bags for those in need, and a local grant is helping take their project to the next level.
This would really impact some people's lives.
Logan Middle School Student Council wants to give back this winter.
We were talking in class, trying to figure out ways that we could help our community, and that topic kind of came up of giving out different items.
They proposed the idea of blessing bags, small care kits with essential items.
It's to help people who maybe don't have money to get some simple things.
Well, you never really know what people are going through. Some people, maybe even in our school, are experiencing this, so we can help anyway.
But to create the bags, they need funding. So they took their idea to La Crosse Soup, where local groups present their projects and the audience decides who wins a micro grant.
It was a little nerve-wracking at first, and then we got the crowd involved, and then it was fun.
It went better than they could have dreamed.
Shocking, honestly, to find out that we won. I was not fully expecting it because there was just so many amazing pitches there, and everybody truly deserve the money, but just to find out that we're going to be able to do our project is kind of amazing.
The students now have $2,500 for their blessing bags.
Our original plan was to fill 180, but we may be able to fill even more now.
And if these middle schoolers could teach the community something, it's that anyone can make a difference.
I just know that there's a lot of people who need this, so it feels pretty great to know that I can make an impact even at the age I am now.
Now, if you want to contribute to the blessing bags, you can reach out to Logan Middle School. Reporting in La Crosse, Allison Fergit, News 8 Now.
The village of Holman is celebrating La Crosse County's first certified sites, 2 pre-qualified properties in its newest business park. Certified sites are business or industrial properties pre-qualified as development ready with key technical studies like environmental, geotechnical, and zoning reviews already completed. Officials say this reduces project delays and speeds up development, giving communities a competitive edge for attracting business investment. Driftless Humane Society unveiling a new spay and neuter surgery site. It offers new state-of-the-art pre-operation, surgery, and recovery space. Once a month, the suite will host vets for high-volume operations, offering low-cost surgeries in the region.
Rural areas obviously are a little bit tougher to get access to care. And our resources. There's less financial resources, there's less manpower, and so it's really important for us to come together, collaborate, and build these spaces.
The Humane Society is also raising funds for phase 2 of the surgery space. It's looking to raise $50,000 for equipment and further expansion of service. Packers rematch with the Bears in Chicago getting expensive. On the secondary market, the average get-in price is $480, up $60 from the week before. The game is December 20th in prime time. The Pack beat the Bears at Lambeau 28-21 on Sunday. We'll have more news ahead, but first.
Yeah, we got to track out all the snow tonight and the wind for Wednesday. Then we have some more snow for Thursday, Friday, but then we have some bitter cold temperatures for your weekend. We'll kind of time all that out and show you what's coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break. Yeah, definitely we have a wetter system that we've seen before, and it really comes from the atmospheric river. The Pacific Northwest is getting all that moisture is now streaming to the east associated with this system, so you end up with milder temperatures, more moisture, but that means a wetter snow than we've had recently. So right now, that's why we got the alert day all the way through Wednesday morning. Roads will likely still be an issue in the morning, even if the snow isn't quite falling. Right now, we got snow north of I-94. Between the areas, you still got snow. There's a slim possibility you might get a little mix, but that it's looking less and less likely. South of I-90, it's actually probably snow. Made you turn to wintry mix, to rain, and then back to snow too. So much less precipitation as you go further north, as there will be a little bit of a dry air that will shut the precipitation off for a little bit for areas south of I-90. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Worst conditions obviously are north. This is where most of the snow, and most of it's probably going to fall before midnight, really. There will be some activity after midnight, but it's more on the lighter side too. Visibility will be pretty high. Further south you go, it tails off pretty quickly until you get towards Prairie du Chien. In those areas, maybe a trace to up to 1 inch too, because they'll see a lot of rain and not much in the way of precipitation either way with this system too as you go further south. Once again, it is on the wet side with the temperatures near freezing. This will help road conditions if the rate doesn't come down as hard, and that's the positive news. Less and less likely, I think we're going to see some icing or some freezing drizzle. There's some areas. Mason City has seen some out toward Mankato. So that area basically from Rochester, Austin down to Decorah, you could see a little bit of pockets of this come through here in an hour that could mix it up a little bit, so maybe some freezing drizzle. It's not going to last long, but there is that opportunity to see it. Right now, all the winter weather advisories, you have the warnings for the more snow up further to the north, the advisories to the south due to the combination of snow and maybe a little bit of wintry mix, and to the west, they have winter advisories going for, especially tomorrow, because the winds behind this low are going to pick up quite a bit, 40, maybe even higher. So they could see some blowing and drifting in eastern Iowa, although as you go further east, it's unlikely a little bit because that snowpack is going to form a little bit of a crust layer, given that the temperatures are going to warm above freezing. That kind of inhibits blowing and drifting for the most part too, but still winds will be fairly strong with that. So that's what we're looking at for advisories right now. Cameras right now, you can see overall we got light snow at La Crosse, Winona. Eau Claire is occasionally seen snow become heavy. That means visibility is dropping down to about a half mile. You see temperatures overall mid-20s to low 30s too, and here's that little bit of mix Austin and down to Mason City. So there's going to be that little edge that's going to lift through here before precipitation may shut off. That may bring us a little bit of snow. And still, as you mentioned, all the conditions right now, right there you can see 2 miles Winona. Eau Claire has come down to half mile at times too. Further to the south, you can see all the cameras right now showing about a mile up at Black River Falls. So light snow, but there could be some pockets of moderate. Gets a little messy as you go further south. You can see some drier air here, but half mile down to Preston, so there is some moderate snow flying too. And further to the south, this is the area that's going to be a struggle to see how much actually we get. There's your big system coming through. It's going to come through the area. Right now, as we kind of time through, you can see there's that period of a little bit of mix coming through to about 7 to 10. We shut the precipitation off south of I-94. Further to the east, they continue it. And then as we get later in the night, the temperatures start falling. We're going to see snow coming back in the pictures. It rotates back north to south, so that'll continue to go on through about the morning commute, but it will taper off. The winds will be the story, and notice the temperatures. They're going to be below freezing, so that should create maybe some slick spots. Even if you don't get too much in the way of precipitation, something to keep in mind of the winds on Wednesday will be quite strong. And then the bigger story going forward, we do have some snow accumulation potential Thursday and Friday, kind of more on the fluffy light side of that. And then look at the temps. They plummet down to the teens and 20 belows. Wind chills could definitely get into the 20s to near 30 below Friday night through Sunday. So
yeah, it's one thing I don't like, those wind chills.
Yeah, it's going to be a bitter cold period there. The good news is beyond that, we do start to climb up potentially towards freezing. So
it's a good old 30.
Yeah, a lot of road hazards out there tonight. Worse as you go further north, less as you go further south. So just be aware, and the morning commute's going to be kind of messy probably too.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, a rundown of Wisconsin Badger athletics on the court and on the ice. Kate has it all after the break.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports with Kate Overton.
It was a rough football season for Badger fans, but on the court and on the ice, Wisconsin athletics are red hot. Let's start with the men's basketball team. Over the weekend, they won the big in-state battle over Marquette in dominating fashion, 96-76. John Blackwell had 30 points in that one, going 6 of 12 from three-point land, lighting up the Golden Eagle defense. He also had 26 points earlier in the week against Northwestern, and with that, Blackwell was named Big Ten Player of the Week. The Badgers have their second conference game this Wednesday when they go on the road to face number 23 Nebraska. On the women's side, the Robin Pingeton era is off to a hot start. Over the weekend, they took down number 20 and previously unbeaten Michigan State in their first conference game of the season. They are now 7-3 on the year and will be taking on San Diego tomorrow at 11 a.m. Prairie du Chien native Lily Cron is averaging 14 minutes a game and is shooting 62% from three-point. On the volleyball court, there are just 16 teams remaining in the Division I tournament. Wisconsin dominated their first and second round matchups in Madison, but now the competition gets taken up a notch as they'll go down to Austin to face 2-seed Stanford on Friday. The Badgers have made it to at least the Elite Eight in each of the last 7 seasons. In fact, head coach Kelly Sheffield has never not made it to the Sweet 16 since he took over in 2013. So this is a spot he has a lot of experience in.
This is a long week between our last match and this next one. You know, we were one of the first ones done. The opening weekends were one of the last ones to get started this second week, so it's a little bit longer break. They probably don't know what to do with themselves right now, but you just want them hungry, you want them excited, you want them to continue to enjoy the process.
On the ice, both the men's and women's hockey team have also been off to hot starts. The women currently ranked 1 in the country. They just went on the road and beat second-ranked Ohio State twice this last week, as they are currently 18-1-1. The men also having a great season, currently ranked second, and they're 12-2-2 on the year. They are 3-1 against Michigan and Michigan State, who are ranked first and ranked third. In an updated look at our News 8 leaderboard, the birthday guy, Ken, still in first place. I'm slightly behind him and second, and Emily, what do you think? Are you going to make a comeback here these last few weeks?
I'm trying.
You're not that far behind. You can do it.
Yeah, I keep doing those random picks like, oh, the underdog might beat this team, but I'm usually wrong with that. But
well, you got a lot of time left.
I was happy about the Texans, though, beating the Chiefs. They're kind of on the up and up.
There you go. And also a special shout out to Denise Homestead of La Crosse. They were this week's overall winner, 12-14. That's all for sports. We'll be right back.
It definitely hazardous travel out there tonight, and for the morning commute, definitely watch the road conditions as you wake up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, stay warm and stay inside tonight. All right, thanks for joining us at 6. We'll see you at 10.